an accurate statement, it may not, but I know there's a lot of people live here and never been to the beach.
Thanks, I'm sorry.
But, I mean, you see on TV where, you got 200,000 people on the beach and all that. I mean, it gets coverage where this doesn't. But there's still activity going on. That's
I agree with the Commissioner, and if you come out to Robstown, one of our biggest parks, but it's also heavily used. I mean, you can go out there on every night, and it'll be packed. There's no parking.
I mean, if we have some numbers to...
We can get you those numbers,
Thank you.
and we can do that. That shouldn't be a problem.
Probably a good point. We can even put something on our county website that gives some, statistics, but just like the Robstown Park, this Hilltop Community Center, I mean, you go out there on any night of the week, and that place is jammed with people.
Yeah, I mean,
Boy
it's not
Scouts, Girl
known
Scouts,
publicly. I
Little
mean, it
League
just doesn't
teams.
get a lot of press. So I think...
And you're right. I've lived in Nueces County all my life, and I barely, maybe, haven't gone to the beach in 10, 20 years. You can't eat a sandwich on the beach. That's the... Are you there?
Edward, did you...
Pre-salt.
Did y'all decide yet what you're going to do about that glass entrance that was blown out during the storm? Or
We're going to meet with LNV to go out there and kind of design something. The decision was made that it served as its purpose as keeping the weather from that front door, so
Right.
the staff would like something to replace it. What happened with this last wind is we had these huge glass pieces of monumental glass. I mean, you're talking about 8 foot tall by, but it was that tempered glass, so when that whatever it was, it went through there, it sucked that whole deal out and blew it out all over the place and ended up in the road and everywhere else. So all that glass is out there. And so rather than come back with just glass, which is about $4,000, we want to come back and put in some kind of
like brick it up?
or something like that. And with that, we also are requesting here, we have our worker here. Her name is Elizabeth Montemayor. She's been very good and instrumental in helping us with our facility here. This whole plant is over about 40 acres. We've got this skate park here. She's been very good about calming that down. Commissioner, I hope you haven't received any complaints, but she's been working really well.
It's been better this year.
We're asking for a little increase for her, about $3,600, and hopefully we can fit that in. These are just some other aspects. We just added this field, this new field that y'all added. We had separated these two fields. We got lights on. We're hoping to put lights on these fields. Now, while the Bodie building isn't budgeted under us, we do the maintenance there. We do maintain the building itself because we have the staff people available. We also do small repairs, and we also take care of, this is one of the I believe the only cemetery that we take care of, which is the Nueces Town Cemetery, which is belongs to Nueces County. Hazel Bazemore is approximately 77 acres, and it's one of our larger parks, but one of our more pristine parks where you can go and you can do a lot of things. We're currently working on this boat ramp right here. Essentially, it's because of the lower water levels, we have issues with people backing their boats in. We've done some repairs using Commissioner McComb's cast-off concrete panels. We've got them situated now in there. This is prior to that, but they're situated in there. We're also planning on putting with Basin Estuaries, we got a grant, putting right here another bird watch that's similar to the one that we have that's existing, that we've already built. That's right, similar in design to this. Adjacent to it, while technically not a park, this was given, or this is property owned or held by, let me go back. Held by Nueces County. We currently, Commissioner had to, I know, send a letter to the Texas Parks and Wildlife because people were poaching in there. And we've since subsequently put up signs, and we had issues with four-wheelers, and we had issues with people driving around there, kind of going mudding. And so we've had to put up signs, and Commissioner had, I think, we ended up, I guess the guy paid a fine because he killed a deer. The deer come over from the Welder Ranch over here, swim across, and they just hang out there, so to speak. And that's approximately another 77 acres. This park, Commissioner McComb, to answer your question, is one of the parks that's used periodically. We do maintain it, but if there's backstops here, it's primarily used during the baseball season and football season. We've had inquiries into people wanting to purchase it or take it away from us. And the situation is kind of tricky because if we decided we didn't want it as a park, it eventually reverts back to the owners, and the owners then get the opportunity to sell it or do whatever they want with it. And they may or may not sell to the neighbors or the ones that actually want to buy it. But
We looked into selling that park, 3 years ago, Edward, I guess, right after I first got here. And it's very complicated. We would kind of like to get rid of it. It's not highly used, and the neighborhood's not particularly thrilled about it, and so we had a private individual who wanted to buy it and build a home on it, but it's very difficult. By the time we went back and went through all the gyrations of what you have to do to sell it, it made the property more expensive than what it was worth, so.
I mean, you indicated it has a reverter clause in it?
well, I think that's the law. We would check with
Yeah, the problem is the revisionary clause in there. We looked at that too. The original developers, all those people are all gone. We couldn't even find them, so we don't know. It would just revert to nobody. So
Well, you could do what the city did on the golf course, just thumb your nose at what the law says and do what you want to do.
well, you can do that. You can do what's called a quitclaim deed and sell it. But the problem is the way the state law is structured on governmental entities selling property. You have to then go back and apply all of the taxes for the years that the county has owned that property. And when you did all of that, it just made it, very difficult to sell. So we're going to look at it again maybe later this year and see if we can come up with a better solution, but it is a park that we hardly utilize.
Okay, moving on, we're going to the northwest again, and we're going to end up near the Catholic Church over there on 624. This is the Lone Oak County Park, and essentially it's about 7 acres. This too is used primarily for baseball, soccer, and some football practicing.
Yeah, it's not far.
Tonight, yeah. We'd like to, part of the plans was to put a walking trail and some other things in the future, but. Yes, we do have to mow on this part.
Most of the time it's green.
This, Commissioner's right, this would happen to probably be the time when the satellite was picking up when it was dry and dusty and right. This is 83 yard. This is where we currently store all our equipment. Everything that y'all bought us, we store it right here. It's, this department is 0170. We're looking for some Z-Track mowers, a couple of crew cab pickups, some hydraulic dump trailer, tractor, four-wheel drive, commercial cement mixer. We want to increase our overtime about 5,000 and then increase our temporaries about 2,000. Essentially, as we go through this whole presentation, I'm hoping that you get a grasp of the huge area that we have to cover and the amount of time that it travels from one to the next location. This is very idyllic. It's really nice. This ravine makes it into a really nice park area. This is all the way in the northwest portion of Nueces County. This is actually near the next county over, I forget, Jim Wells and San Patricio. Essentially, Commissioner, this is the second, and even though it doesn't have a boat ramp, people get into Nueces through this little park area. And again, it's due to, actually have more parks than what we're actually claiming here. Right here, we've got about 29 structures that we're actually looking at that we're doing on this flyby. But there's actually more than that. But the wisdom of the Commissioner's Court in the past and the present has not been to accept any more property.
Amen.
That I think state law designates that any subdivision created has to have a park place or something like that.
Is that, what do they call it, Lazy Lane or something out there on the river that floods every year?
That's close to, this is actually Javelina Lane. This is actually Javelina. My father-in-law actually lives down right over here.
And what's that, 666 or something that crosses it, or
No, this is on, going down near Fort Lipatitlan. It's down 91 all the way in Sandy Hollow.
Back it up a little bit. Okay.
That's Sandy Hollow, and where's Blunzer? Okay, Blunzer's this way. You come down here, this is a Wright's gravel pit, right through there, and there's Blunzer.
Okay, well, that's even further up the river than,
This is all the way, right here's the county border right here, and then on this other side is,
That's County Road 70 there.
and then,
that's almost up there to the Canali place, isn't it?
yes, it's right next to Canali. If you go a little bit to the north, it's the Canali. And then they really taken that place, there's like 5-acre lots, 2-story homes. Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Well,
Yep.
zero in on that a little more. That's Sandy.
Where, Commissioner?
The Sandy Hollow Park,
Oh.
you're saying people use it as a boat ramp. Are they coming,
Probably another one we'd like to get rid of.
are they coming in on the county property and then coming over, I guess, this private property and launching down there, just right there where you're,
Correct. Essentially, right here, a tree blew down, and they just rolled back over here on
oh,
this.
okay.
We've recently cleared this whole area here, so it looks entirely different than this, and so they can come back to the park areas.
Okay.
Moving on from there, we're going to go to the westernmost portion of the county. And some people say it's not even in the county, but Commissioner Jag, we know better, right, Commissioner? We're jumping all the way to Agua Dulce. Here we have the Bobby Ray and Opal Yonks Park. Commissioner Jag recently had the veterans groundbreaking there. We also manage the Justice of the Police building there. We share an employee with the building maintenance that manages this, and also our David Berlanga Senior Building. Here we're looking at, I think I didn't put it on here, but we want to replace some chairs and some tables. The park is approximately 1.39 acres, and we also have the Head Start out of the same building. We accrue about $3,000 in revenue from the Head Start using that facility. Then we're going to jump to the east.
Edward, on the senior center in Agua Dulce, I have a deal in my office. I need to give it to you, but it's, we replaced the air conditioner, one of them. So, well, the other one's running all the time by itself. So it's really, I got something there to give you that maybe you might want to include it in your budget.
Okay, Commissioner.
So I think that one's getting ready to go out too, so.
Here we have the Sablatura Park. It's actually a park that was, it's about 20.7 acres. It was the Sablatura family out of Agua Dulce that helped establish it. We've got a very nice bathroom facility that we've recently built. I mean, I'm talking about at least 5 years ago. It's got real nice trails. It's a really nice park. Right here, we've got the this sweet pea or sweet, and it's kind of like the purple ambrosia, a protected plant that grows in this area because of the, it looks like the original habitat prior to the inclusion of the new grasses such as the blue stem and the Bermuda type grasses. So it's a protected area right here. Then from there, we're going to jump further east. We're going to head into Banquetti. This is the new park that we're building. We just had an inspection from the Texas Parks and Wildlife. This park is approximately 17.7 acres. We're almost finished with its complete construction. We just need some tables and chairs along this area here, tables and covered seating, and then some workout stations following the trails. We've installed lighting here, and we've got the playground installed, and this is almost completed. We should be completed in about 6 months.
That one also has a Veterans Memorial.
That one also, yes, sir, has a Veterans Memorial. Then we're now here at the Banquetti Community Center. Right here we have, we're asking for tables and chairs as well, and it's used by the whole community. It's one of those facilities that gets constant use. We jumped further east to Robstown. Basically what we're looking at here is this park, this portion of the park is 29.5 acres, and we're looking at replacing this building right here. Tearing down this one over here, tearing this one down and replacing it with a building concession venue, kind of like the one we have at Hazel Basil, not Hazel Basil, Lyndale Basil.
What is that building used for now?
This is a bathroom, and this is a venue for, it's a kind of like concession stand. But these things were built by the county about 40 years, and these bathrooms are like the ones that we replaced in Bishop, and the ones we put up over there. And but this bathroom really needs replacement. Also, throughout this whole area, connecting all these the facility. There's this is the community center. This bathroom. There's a bathroom over here. There's a series of mains that go throughout that are made out of well, it's not ceramic. It's clay pipe that we'd like to replace, and we estimate about $150,000 for replacing that as well. This section is called Way Out Yonder Park. It's essentially used for practicing and pretty much kickball, softball. Here's the New North Park. We're building a football field here for our football program. We've got parking all over the place. This parking lot, believe it or not, is used every weekend by aviator enthusiasts. They bring in huge model planes and fly them throughout the park. We'll be, if anybody goes in there and interrupts them while they're driving their planes, they're very difficult on the people. We built this lake. We built these structures, these gazebos over the water. We built the bridges, and this lake was well, it was a grant. It was a Texas Parks and Wildlife grant. We had at that time gotten Absolute Industries to help us. They were committed to moving the dirt. Halfway through the project, they stopped doing it. They were having some financial difficulties, so we ended up doing it with bulldozers and county equipment. But this whole park, the playground areas and everything has been.
So what was one of the difficulties in building that park that it took so long from beginning to end, and that some of the people had made commitments, and some of them were no longer around for a number of reasons. They were dead, bankrupt, or having financial problems. It took a long time to get from the beginning of this project to the end, and it was a long story.
It's one of those ones that you pull teeth on and get through.
You got 3 fields there?
Yes, sir. And those are the same size as the, oh, shoot. Those are the same size fields as the, they're huge fields. This next year, we're considering taking this one field and chopping it up into 3 fields that are smaller and more dedicated towards softball, 200 feet fields, softball, kickball, and that kind of stuff. Here's our Robstown Community Center. We're looking to replace tables and chairs in the buildings itself. We're looking at the temp hours increasing to 2850, replace 15 passenger vans, and adding computers. Now, we use a lot of temps because they do our routes for us instead of hiring personnel, so we pay them a lot less. The thing is that we've had a few personnel we lost about 2 or 3 in the last rift from that department that we have no backup, so consequently we're getting a lot of comp time or compensation time, and we're at the point where we're going to have to start paying people off because we exceeded the amount. And that's throughout all our departments. We've got very good employees that stay to do their jobs. And then from there we go back further east. Here's the stadium. Essentially, we've got about 38.6 acres and community. It's got its own department, which is 0140, but it's done. We support it with community services. We're the ones that put in the dirt, the fields, mow the grass, and take care of the whole deal. And then we've got the Richard and Borchard Fields. This is approximately about 180 acres. Again, it's got its own budgets, but we can take care of the whole deal. We do receive some transfers from that department fund, about between $10,000 and $15,000, and we have to submit for that.
That transfer is used for overtime. You could,
That corner?
No, this corner, Commissioner, is actually ours, but essentially it's being farmed.
Okay, that's the one we lease out for farming.
That section there, and the whole property is over 300 acres,
Okay.
but we only manage that. This is a little too close to the pond area here, so they don't farm that. This area is the area for the strip mall, and we take in a batwing mower and we cut all that.
Actually, we own.
Michigan, you turn your mic on.
We own 500 acres, and an additional about 300 acres to the east of that. I think to where you see that next, right. And we get some income from some of the farming that goes on in there.
Then moving to the east, our eastmost park is in Clarkwood. This is the San Juan Park. It's a smaller park. Essentially, it's tables, playground equipment. Here's where we're currently housed. This is where I'm housed out of the Precinct 3. This is the Precinct 3 yard. Jerry Garcia is the manager over here. He works for the Public Works area. This is another park. It's Lost Creek Park. Of course, this is an area that's not highly used. They only use it again to get to the river whenever they want to go fishing and whatnot. It's not very well used. If we were to sell another park, maybe that would be another one.
know, speaking of that, several years ago, the city of Corpus Christi went through and inventoried a bunch of these seldom used parks that many of them had been created, Joe, from subdivisions where they'd had to give so much land, part of it. And they had a big park sale. Now, I don't know how they did all that, but we sold a bunch of unused or seldom used parkland, and somehow it was worked out. But it was something we really ought to look at here in the county, because you're maintaining a lot of acreage that's just ought to go back to somebody else and get a little revenue off the doggone stuff.
We'd really like to look at it.
I'd like to look at an inventory in next year, early next year, and let's go out and look at this stuff and get the commissioners' inputs and from everybody and says, do we really need this? If not, let's see if we can bundle it up and maybe have a big land sale or something.
This is our district community center. We're making some improvements on it now. Essentially, it's tables and chairs to replace the existing ones. This is
Is that back building yours too?
Yes, this park is actually, the park belongs to the city of Driscoll.
The city owns the property and we put the improvements
Edward,
in. And they're
Commissioner.
aren't they supposed to maintain it?
In this case, we don't maintain the park, we maintain the building itself, just the county, what the county belongs, with the building itself, that's all we maintain, in this case. That was the agreement. This is Amistad Park with the new courtyard right here. It's 6.26 acres. We'd like to build a practice field right here. Currently, there's backstops throughout the park, but the request has been made for a more, and it's not going to be a big one. It's going to be maybe a 200, 220 yard kind of softball / t-ball type practice field. This property right here is in no man's land, and because there's a sign here that says you can only go this direction. So this gentleman over here is complaining about trees and stuff falling down here, and it belongs to nobody. Nobody. They thought it was park property. It's not park property, and they don't know who. And our southernmost facility, and our last facility on our list, is our Bishop Community Center. This is the area that Commissioner Gonzalez is talking about, putting in new parking up here in the front. I think this is a separate project. It's not in what we've got, and helping develop this area a little bit better and redoing some of this parking area, moving this dumpster, I believe, to over here in this location.
Okay, where's the JP building from there?
Okay, if you come down this way right here, the JP building is right, this is the post office right here. This is the building right here. Here, here's the JP uses this area as his courtroom. The constables are here. The JP's offices are here. This is a jail that they're not using anymore. Over here is the library, about this section here. And over here, it was, excuse me? The county owns this building, yes.
The community center, the city owns all the land, don't they, and parking lots?
Around the community center, it's actually the pavement, we own, or we maintain the paved areas, the building itself, and kind of what's in this box. We don't necessarily cut the grass up here, but we do, and on a half occasion, managed or maintained this area that's in this box. Sometimes the city can do it, sometimes they can't, but we need to have it ready for the seniors that are there.
So what was that again? The city owns the land, but the county owns the building?
Correct.
That building was, well, it was built in
Commissioner,
98, yeah.
Somewhere in there,
Yeah, right.
so Judge, in total, there's about 729 acres that we currently manage or maintain in some form or fashion. We are also asking for an increase for all our department workers. Essentially, we have 15 employees, and this is not including any of the little leagues, soccer leagues, and stuff that we have to deal with. We also have to deal, as you know, with the 911. When you went out there, you saw the parks personnel were integral into getting people out. That's part of their duties that they understand and know. We do a lot of other things that, again, we didn't list through here. This is just the everyday stuff. You know, when we work to get things ready for presentations and stuff, we do that as well. We currently down, and it's not your fault, Judge. I know what we're trying to do is reduce that, but we're currently down 5 employees, 4 due to layoffs, firings, and stuff. And then we have 1 that's been pretty much on FMLA for a year now. And in community services, we've got about 21 employees. We've got 2 positions we're filling now. So we've got a total of 42 positions that we use throughout our whole operation. And the two groups work interdependently. If someone goes down community services, mostly one way into community services, parks people step up and take care of routes and stuff since we lost all those personnel, the backup use that we used to have there. The parks personnel are trained to go in and do meal routes and assess the participants as they deliver their meals and stuff like that. So we're taxed. We can get to it, but it takes us a little bit longer. And that's the more we add, the more it takes us to get there. We're going to do it, and we've done a lot of good things. It's just we get there.
You have.
With that, if there's any more questions.
It's a great way to look at it. Do me a favor, go back over to Robstown a minute and Google the airport.
Let me just say real quick, on the staffing, we're short. How many people are you short?
Right now, we're short 6 people we're trying to fill.
6. And mostly in the community service center, or is it
Mostly in parks right now.
parks?
We had to let go some employees, and it's,
So you got the 30-day waiting period, or what?
yes, that's, I can understand its use, but it's kind of hurting us, because we've got all that stuff that we had to go do for years, Commissioner Pusley's and stuff, we did with 10 employees.
There it is.
We appreciate it.
Okay, back off just a little, please. Right there, okay. Okay, thanks. Anyone had any questions, Viv? Good job.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you very much for doing that. Very nice, very nice.
The only one other thing Commissioner Ortiz had asked me was, since 2003, we've added 323 acres to our deal with no subsequent increases in the budget.
Very good. Well, thank you. Sheriff's not here.
Yeah, Teresa's following up with him.
Okay. Is Roxy on the list?
No, she's not. No, she's not.
Very good. Thank you.
Your Honor, I just wanted to mention before Edward takes off, there at Hazel Baysmore,
Edward.
I just wanted to mention before you got away, Edward, there at Hazel Baysmore, Edward and I kind of found out the hard way because of the drought situation, the level of the river is down significantly. So his phone and my phone started blowing up over calls about people not being able to use the boat ramp. Well, we really didn't realize that's the only public boat ramp upstream of the salt dam. There are no other public boat ramps. We've got, that one there at that one little park and way out on the west end of the county that people sort of use, but the Parks and Wildlife, everybody uses that ramp. So we've sort of baling wired a fix, but we've applied for a grant to come in and build a new boat ramp. That one is in very bad shape. It's been there a very long time. Edward and them spent some money sort of patching it up, and Commissioner McComb gave us some concrete that we were able to, put in there to try to help us through this rough spot. But it's a very, we didn't realize how highly it was used until it was out of service.
It's, right now, the fix is for a certain size. Most boats will launch off of it right now, but anybody that's got a bigger boat tries to push off further into there, they bottom out on the hole, and then their boat trailer gets hung up, and they rip the crud out of it, and they, there's no, luckily we checked with Lauda, and she says it's at their own risk, and we've actually got a sign to that effect. We don't need one, but if you go use it and you mess up your boat, then the county's not liable for it. Kind of like the skate park. It's all under that same general area.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the problem with boat ramps, I mean, the fishermen, whether they're here or up at the lake, I mean, at some point, when the level goes down, doesn't matter how far you extend your boat ramp out, you're not going to work. So, I mean, you can't, it may be a little inconvenience in the phone call, and if it's a bad boat ramp, under normal circumstances, it probably needs to be fixed, but, and I would certainly encourage that, but, I mean, you just can't have a boat ramp going out. I mean, if you ever pass by Lake Texana up there when it's down, I mean, holy smoke, that water, I mean, you're a long way from the water when that lake drops down, and you
Yeah,
just,
we actually
becomes
closed the ramp
non-existent.
for several days, and we had some rain, and the level came back up a little bit, but Roxy's looking under every stone. But one of the things we found out, one of the places Parks and Wildlife does have a little money is in their boat ramp program.
Yeah.
So we've applied for that, and we've got our fingers crossed.
And the other good thing about that, Commissioner, is it'll make it ADA compliant. It'll allow for us to,
Oh, my gosh, be careful getting into that thing. They did that out at Billings or at somebody out here and spent over $1 million, and it's totally useless.
well, hopefully we won't have that problem, but that reminds me also, we probably, when the ADA people came through, we have a lot of things. I was going to focus on the tennis courts. One of the things that we need to do there is pour concrete, so next year we may be pouring a lot of concrete walkways and stuff like that.
Good job, Edward.
Thank you. Watching Edward do that's like watching NCIS. You know, they Google and here you are, and they bring you up, and you can read the license plate, everything else on there. But
I could have done that, but I didn't want to pay the money.
yeah, I know. Good job. Well, I guess we don't have anybody here, so
Well, they're due,
take a little break.
9:30, yeah. Well, we got your parking lot striped, Judge.
Hey, I saw you on TV.
Oh, it wasn't, it's not on the agenda, I can't talk.